Hello, good morning. Welcome to another year's futures trading stream. Today is Friday, it is night, September 19th, it is 10:05 a.m. Eastern Time in the US. Finally, the end of the week is here. And I just wanna, there is a lot of things that happen or that can happen during these days. I wonder if I can switch this. I can put this up there and move this lower. Let's see. Oh yeah, I think this is better. Huh. Okay. Well, I guess I got too much time. Too much time in hands. Okay. Nah, this is not good. Maybe if I put this up here, I move this one over here. Oh, what happened there? No, that wasn't. No, you. No. You. What? Yeah, you. Yeah, I think so. Alright. Ooh, hoo, hoo. Yeah. No, I don't like this. This is really interesting. In the morning, no, let's put it where it was. You come down here, you come over here, you come down here, you over here, and you up here. Okay. All right. In the pre-market, I have seen this curious, peculiar thing happening in this just before the opening, right? And not what catches my attention was not the period or the histogram itself or the way how it is distributed, right? But the conjunction of many pieces of information here. To start with, there was nothing, just whites coming up, like having a P shape here. But volume comes, right? Volumes come. We have contracts 400 of this is 703. From this 1,000, almost half is only one trade, and you have up here and 10, which is this one. I have 6,000 here, another 600 over here. Not that much. But all of this happening around the 67 mark, the 700 mark. And now, as the period starts to develop, we have YC this big print here, 1,000 contracts here. How we around the 72, you know, and you look at this, man. Look at this. This is a good heel, higher volume to the upside, big blocks, you know, and you have 700 around this area. That per se doesn't mean anything, right? Doesn't mean anything here. When the market was going lower, I actually got a short here somewhere in here. I couldn't avoid that, man. And the reason why I got that is I have this from yesterday. You know, look at this. The way how this market acts, right? Market keeps going, rallies, and is pulled back to this area, to this rectangle that I highlighted yesterday. Another rally comes back to that area. Rally comes back to that area, right? Inventory is building here, long in the long side. And what this is giving me is a 45-degree line, but which now the next thing for me was this has to be something to the downside for me. I didn't get anything here, right? I think it was too close to the opening. Also, the fact that it's just, you know, the upper side of the value area. I think it would have been really nice if the market would have come to this area, right? For me, at least, because I think I have a bias here. I have a bias, but there is something. When I got this, something that needs to happen is I was aiming again to this area, and the trade actually, but the trade didn't develop. All right, was for this trade to work, whatever happened, that had to work really fast, right? Market just pushing its way lower here, and when I got the reason why I got short here is it was, you know, this market just was trying once it printed it opened here. Once it's open here, it just tried to, and the market was pushed lower towards this area, and where I have also this marks here, this highlighted area here. Those are big blocks from yesterday, and that was the trade for me, aiming to this area and taking that resistance in similar fashion to this area here, right? Aiming to this one. But it has to happen fast, and it comes, as I say, after this market failed to retrace it here, to retake the opening. Every time it was moving higher, it was being pushed lower. Another attempt came back. There was another attempt, was pushed lower. Another attempt was pushed lower, and also the next time, that's when I got my short, but it didn't work. Right? It didn't develop, and I closed pretty much a scratch, a break even basically, right? Because what can happen if that particular trade didn't develop, and it was, I know it was early in the morning, right? Early in the morning, it is an inside day, it is open the inside value area, the odds of rotation and chop are really high here, okay? Plus that we have, this is the Quadruple Witching day. Yes. And check where the market opened. This is where it opened, really high, right? Under regular circumstances, any other day, this would be extraordinarily high, and something could come out of this. But it is Quadruple Witching, right? So this is normal for a day like this, right? This is normal like this. There's a lot of things that are going on. This is the culmination of a lot of things, but I don't know when it's going to end, right? We never actually know when it ends. Sometimes it's, as soon as the market closes, it's a different story. Another times, you know, ends at as the day ends, as the 30 days ends, close to 4 p.m. Sometimes runs through the run-off period and ends at 4:15. Another times is, you know, in between the opening and the close, right? Nobody knows. I don't know. I really don't know. So based on that, this trade has to work really fast, and I didn't. It didn't. So I decided to close, and I'm at peace with that. And I don't have anything really out of this. The only thing, for me at least, that can be going on here is still the 45-degree line forming here, right? I cannot let go of that, at least not yet. Right? You have this area, come up here, comes back lower to this area. Next thing, the same thing, right? This time comes up here. The next rally comes up here, and it gets even lower. Next time, you got another rally up here, break. Next rally, down, break. Now what we are having is we're having another rally here. And what I'm interested in now is just observing here now. Right? Just saying what can happen out of this. Right? We may have another time doing the same thing, coming down to this area maybe, or maybe this even coming higher, getting the market out of this range, taking this market, making new highs, repairing, and making an all-time highs during regular trading hours now, which is a better area to place a short. But if I am going to be short, it's not going to be just because it's high. Right? That's not. I need to observe the market, how it gets to that point. Right? The same kind of area that I have here, support, call it support or whatever, that's what I have up here now. All right. And about the same amount of volume. I have 7,000 here, like after the close, just maybe 1 minute before the end of the day. I'm talking like 4:58, 4:59 p.m. here. Same thing happening here. And it happened yesterday. This time it happened yesterday. Doing these observations doesn't mean that it has to happen, okay? But I have that in mind. Another piece of information is all of this inventory that we have here. And this is very short time frame. Look at what do we have here in this area? Selling. Okay, you got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, probably 11 times, 11 periods, placing their stops around this area. These stops here probably are up here, and these ones are probably up here, and these ones probably up here. That could have been what created or give this market the fuel to make this high. Okay, there's nothing else above here. Again, quadruple witching. Yes, and everything under if this were any other regular day, for me at least, it would have been different. Right? The fact that this quadruple witching is just unless there is something really clear for now between now and the closing, I would rather keep watching this market. Right? I made a I was telling I was telling this pretty much since Friday that I was going to sit out this week. I thought I saw something. I thought I have an opportunity here. The risk and reward wasn't that high. Wasn't that much. The risk was I was risking 1 point here, maybe to make 10, something like that. It's just that's 1 to 10 risk reward. It's not bad, but it needs to follow, a strict. I need to follow a plan, I need to stick to the rules of that plan, pretty much to the tick, right? I mean, not to the tick, to the T. Failing to do that would have increased the risk considerably. Right? Now that I did that play, I don't have anything here other than what I have saying. Right? I am interested in see what the market does with this. If we have any kind of upside and the market gives something, notice for example now. I know it's just you are just 2 periods, right? The third period is coming soon. What value area is, right? Where is this value area high? Where is this value area high? They match. These heights match. So we have an inside date with value inside previous day value area, and overall this day is adding to this day. There's no inventory being added to what we had yesterday. Notice that yesterday looked like a short covering day. It gives also a 45-degree line with this 45-degree line to the downside, which is very risky for the long side. It is building, it's adding more inventory here. If this market doesn't have upside extension, got to be very careful here. And again, quadruple witching, quadruple witching here. Anything can happen, and this is not an ordinary day. This is a very different day in which the rules, quote unquote rules, right? Because there is no rules here in trading. Market doesn't care about rules, but usually may work or may give us an edge, right? Something that may increase your odds of success. In days like today, those are just not valid, right? Not valid. Be ready for that, right? Be ready for that. Don't be wasting too much energy, too much time trying to find out something here, or much less chasing any kind of movement that may come out from this day. You got to be very careful here. Got to be really careful. I am kind of tired. I have no shame about saying that I will go to take a nap here. Come back to the screens, come back to the market when I feel better. I don't feel rested enough. When you're not 100% with all your senses, in this business, you are just basically baiting, sabotaging yourself. Yeah. Gotta be very careful here. Notice what's happening here. Market tries to go higher, but it just dries here. This is an inside day. We have an inside bar. Do you remember the inside bars that we had in the past? The resolution of that inside bars? Okay. Let me bring the charts, the bar charts here. Okay. Inside day, resolution to the upside, to the upside, to the upside, to the upside, every single one. In the past month or two has been to the upside. Now, as the day starts to develop, we are having an inside bar here. Okay, it is not just so far. It is only 2 periods. The range of this day is very narrow day, range. Notice where the inside bar is. Is an inside bar to the upside. Got to be very careful here, man. Now, there can be something out of this, but maybe, maybe it's not going to play today. Maybe it will be for next week, or maybe for the opening. There's another trade also that I did last night. This was just very tempting, man. Very tempting. I couldn't avoid. It happens that I was here in this market when during the European opening here at this time of the night. Okay, and what I saw here, I saw this period, this breakout J here. Right? The breakout here. And I decided to go along with this. Okay? When K opened, it was during J, right? I was very aware of what we have in the upper side, what kind of weakness we have in the upper side. But my main piece of information was the 45-degree line here, right? There's a tremendous amount of loans here, and this inventory had the chance to be squeezed, man, right? That's to be liquidated here, and doing that, it is easier if it happens during the overnight because there's no volume, right? And this market could have opened, or this movement could have extended really fast towards this area here, right? But remember, the inventory that is here, the long inventory that is here, is not the same as it was when we have this day. Okay, these longs are long gone, but at least the question about all the weak ones. This one is also gone. This one is also gone. Okay, so the power to do that was actually diminished, and we have only this one. Okay, only this part. And it had to happen fast, and aiming to taking this support resistance level that I had here around the 75 and a 60-75. But after J, what happened is K have to create a second distribution here. It has to create a second distribution, meaning that value has to start to building up in this side, and not just that, but having downside extension. None of those things happen. The distribution was closed. There was no downside continuation, There was no building up around this area. So that's a first thing, right? There's a first sign here that this market is not as weak as prices were trying to make me think, right? Make me believe, right? That's one thing. And that also made me carry information for the next day. In this case, for the regular trading hour session, which is what we are all watching now. Okay, and of course, quadruple witching again. You know, I look like I sound like a broken record now. Quadruple witching, over and over. All right. This market may want to break, but there can be something there behind holding this market higher. There was no give up on September inventory, on September contract, inching to the close, which was this part, which tells me that this was the trade actually during this day that happened here, the removal of this long inventory here. And now, for any kind of movement to the downside, there has to be inventory here. Okay, there has to be. And I am tempted to say that, and this is also a bias, that there is nothing else here for the rest of the day. Right? Really, that's my mindset is building towards that conclusion, right? That really, right? There can be actually nothing going on here as the day develops, and if there is something here, it could happen maybe next week. Okay. That being said, the next thing, or the last thing I have to say here is, okay, wait a minute, before going over there, this is was happening in bonds on the other markets. You have a range here, gap has been closed. Let's see if this market comes back to this range here. Same thing with the 30, it comes back to this range here. Gold making all-time highs, dollar coming back into this range. And this is the most worrying thing, right? Crude price of crude remains low. Man, that's not a good sign. And winter is coming as well. I don't have anything really. So rather than just wait and be tempted to do anything here, I was just calling it a day, or I'll take a break really. Notice this. The Dow is an inside day. Russell has looked above and retraced back inside previous range, which can target the opposite side. Nasdaq I think Nasdaq is the one that has better also they're actually taking the high, making an all-time high. Look at this, very questionable highs. The ES is compressing inside. This is balance inside balance. We have balanced day inside balanced day. Okay. Nothing else here, my friends. Oh, I'm sorry about that, man. I really need to take a break here. Okay. Unless you have any questions, I'm going to be calling it a day here. I wish you a wonderful rest of the day. and have a great weekend. For any of you that may be interested in the streams, Twitch keeps these videos for 7 days, but you can find it. You can find the recordings in YouTube as well. The channel is the same, has the same name. Is Future 3, that's the channel. If you wanna check past streams. Okay, alright guys, have a wonderful rest of the day. Stay safe. Hope I can see you next week. Bye bye.